Chief, what will the MPD have deployed on Inauguration Day?
Every available resource. That's our entire department. Our total department will be activated. We'll have support of law enforcement officers from all across our country to the tune of about 2,500 that will be here to support us in this effort.
Over the past few days, the Capitol has turned into something of a fortress with the tightest security Washington, D.C. has seen in recent memory. Security concerns of an insider attack on Inauguration Day have prompted the FBI to vet 25,000 National Guard troops. In an interview with the Associated Press, Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy said he warned commanders to be on the lookout for any problems within their ranks, saying, quote, "We're continually going through the process and taking second, third looks at every one of the individuals assigned to this operation." Here to break down what's actually happening in our nation's capital from a security standpoint is Kurt Schlichter, senior columnist at TownHall.com, lawyer and Army veteran. Kurt, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Buck.
Let's start. I wanted to have you react before we get deeper into the security precautions here and how it feels like this is being now leveraged beyond security for political purposes. Here is sitting member of Congress Steve Cohen speaking about our National Guard. Play it.
You know, I was thinking the Guard is 90 some odd percent, I believe, male. Only about 20% of white males voted for Biden. You got to figure that in the Guard, which is predominantly more conservative, and I see that on my social media and we know it, they're probably not more than 25% of the people that are there protecting us who voted for Biden. The other 75% are in the class that would be the large class of folks who might want to do something. And there were military people and police who took oaths to defend the Constitution and to protect and defend who didn't do it, who were in the insurrection. So it does concern me.
What do you make of that, Kurt? He's basically saying National Guard's got a bunch of white guy Trump voters who might do something on Inauguration Day.
Well, look, I'm sifting through that word salad trying to find something that makes any sense. It's offensive, it's stupid, it's ignorant, everywhere from calling a small riot an insurrection to impugning the loyalty of the guys I served with for 23 of my 27 years in the military, including commanding disaster and civil support operations. The idea that somehow these guys are secretly going to attack maybe or do something. He's not specific, and when people aren't specific, I put on my lawyer hat and I start thinking this guy's trying to pull a scam. And what this all is, it's all an information off. Putting 30,000 troops, which is 3 divisions, that's one more than we landed at Omaha Beach, into Washington, D.C. is really just it's supposed to send a powerful message of power. It's supposed to send a powerful message to dissuade, I guess, another 100 idiots dressed as Vikings from rushing into the Capitol. And it's just, it's so sad when you have a government official trashing our soldiers based on their race. When I led Guard soldiers, when I led active soldiers, to use a hoary cliche, they looked like America. It wasn't all people like me. It was people of all different ethnic groups and everything. But we didn't care about any of that. All we cared about is the green on our uniform and the flag on our shoulder. And that's how our people went forward. And that's how our people are going for. And that's how these troopers are going for in Washington. And to be slandered like this by some punk congressman is almost too much to take. You know, those guys can't say it because they're on duty and they have to pretend to have respect for him. I don't. I think he's garbage. I think he owes an apology to every man and woman wearing the uniform of the United States of America.
Nancy Pelosi seems to have changed her tune quite a bit among many other Democrats. Here she is last week tweeting out that even during this dark time in the history of America, we find reasons for hope. It was my privilege to personally thank members of the National Guard working to protect our nation's capital. Thank you for protecting democracy. Okay, and look, I'm a big proponent of the Guard. You actually were serving alongside people who were in the Guard. But I also remember that Nancy Pelosi, among other Democrats, over the summer during BLM riots, including riots just outside of the White House and riots that tried to burn down one of the oldest, most historic churches in Washington, D.C., next to the White House. We all remember that. that the deployment of the Guard then was considered fascism, that when Senator Cotton tried to write, or did write, an op-ed in the New York Times about deploying the Guard to deal with those riots, the Times pulled it. It was viewed as violence to even suggest deploying the Guard. What changed, Kurt?
How useful it was to have the Guard. Look, when the rioters were BLM and Antifa and they were burning down your business or your audience's business, that was okay. They're just peaceful protesters. But boy, when the establishment gets threatened or feels itself threatened, that's a whole different story. Then it becomes serious. Then it becomes then it matters. And I particularly love your reference to the New York Times. Their collective whiplash on pulling that 180-degree turn, it's just like a chef's kiss to the hypocrisy that we've seen throughout the last year.
And we actually have Nancy Pelosi here scolding Trump for deploying National Guard. This was back in June.
This afternoon sent a letter to the president expressing concern about the increased militarization and lack of clarity that may increase chaos. I'm writing to request a full list of the agencies involved and clarifications of the roles and responsibilities of the troops and federal law enforcement resources operating in the city. But what authority is the president sending people from these other states into D.C.? Who do they report to? Do they report to their governors? Is there a chain of command here?
A lot of questions and criticism
Those
for what she called militarization during widespread riots, including just outside the White House. Kurt, what happened to Nancy?
Well, Nancy decided it was much more useful to pretend she was a friend of the troops. She did have a good question about the chain of command. I would have liked to have seen who the chain of command was that led our troops, who are issued sleeping mats, who are issued sleeping bags, who all have access to cots, to screw them around the Capitol Rotunda and then allow photographers to troop through and take photos of them. I'd like to find out who that commander is and find him a new job, maybe handing out volleyballs at Nome, Alaska.
Yeah, those photos certainly seemed, we're showing some of the footage up here. The photos in particular, I've been in war zones and I did not see people sleeping on marble floors quite like this.
No, there's no excuse for that. That is purposeful. They want that image. They want people who don't know any better to be shocked at how hard it is on the soldiers because of these horrible guys dressed like Vikings. And in reality, it's their chain of command totally letting them down by not putting them in proper billets, in a proper place to be tactically dispersed, because deep inside the Capitol is not it, and not allowing them to use the issued uniforms. We have very, very good equipment, very good sleeping mats, very good sleeping bags. Everybody's got a cot. And instead, you've got this cluster. Don't these guys have sergeants? Isn't there a whole building full of generals about 6 miles away that saw this on TV and should have come out and done something? What happened to our army, Buck?
It looks like people wanted this image to get out there. Kurt Schlichter, everybody. Kurt, always good to see you. Thank you for your time and your service, sir. Hey, Team Buck, just want to say thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more great content from The First, please click that subscribe button.